What's good? It's Jordan. Today I'll be talking to you about don't underestimate the power of influence. We must identify the influences that are in our life, whether it's good influences, whether it's bad influences. These influences make our life. If we are around good influence, we are around people of good influence, we are around an environment of good influence, then we will have great qualities, great characteristics. If we are around bad influences, then we will develop bad characteristic traits, negative ideologies, temptations, desires that are negative, things that are wicked. We have to understand what influence we want to be placed around and be in. Sometimes we may feel the need to do evil, to do wicked things, to do things that are not of God, due to the fact of the matter of the enemy trying to control the dynamic of our life. But with good influences, we're able to see what a good influence is and how to be influential, doing the right thing. Sometimes it's harder to do the right thing because this world is filled with so much evil, where it shows that doing the negative things gets you more rewards than doing the right things. But in reality, doing the right thing takes you further than doing the wrong thing. You may be feeling good about doing the wrong thing in the moment, but at the end of the day, when you look back on what you did in the past, when you're doing negative things, you may feel the guilt behind that. See, when you're doing something good and you're being of good influence, you don't have to think back about what you have done good, because you always feel great about what you did. See, we have to be focused, we have to be disciplined, and we have to be determined, because there are only two categories: good influence and bad influence. Which one are you? Understand, in your personal life, you could be of good influence, where people see what you're doing. People see you help others. People see you doing the work of God, and they want to be like you. Don't think that in your personal life you cannot be of good influence, where people are seeing you, where people are understanding what you do, where people want to be like you. There are people who watch you on a day-to-day basis in your own personal life, but they'll never tell you that you're influential towards them. Understand that sometimes you may not need the credit from people, but just being able to be an influence in someone else's life to help this person through what they're going through is a good and great gift from the Most High. We have to understand that in this time period, many people are going through many various different things that are complex. And just by them seeing you deal with your situations in a way that gives them courage to deal with their own situations helps. See, when we're a bad influence, and we're not doing the things that God wants us to do, we can only destroy others. We can only push others backwards instead of forwards. And ultimately, when you are in a negative mindset, you cannot help. You can only hurt. You can only stop people from being the best person that they can be, and not the greatest person that they can be. See, we have to pay attention to what we do, because people are watching. Sometimes we think people aren't watching, but people are watching. And there are people who will tell you when you're doing right and when you're doing wrong. Sometimes we may not see if we're doing right or we're doing wrong. But if someone could point it out to you, and you're able to make the right correction, where the Most High is able to have his hold on you, then you're able to move more towards the positive influence, the good influence. And what we must understand is when we are in a mind state of bad influence, we may be in a state in our lives that may place us in that bad influential state, and we need to heal, we need to work on ourselves, and we need to get back into shape, spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. We may have times in our life when we feel negative. Everyone does, including myself. This does not mean that when we have a negative time in our lives, we place it on others. Because sometimes when we're going through something negative, we like to place negativity upon others instead of actually getting to the root and the situation at hand in our own personal lives. When we get to the root of the situation and we deal with the situation, then we're able to heal, grow, and develop from that. What we must understand is there may be children who may be watching us, and our families, our friends, associates, just even a stranger watching you. There may be other young adults watching, wanting to learn and understand us and see how we do things so they can take our experiences in this life and use it towards their own life. Everyone's watching. There's going to be some days where we have bad days, yes. But at the end of the day, do not let the bad days outweigh your good days. There may be days where we may not feel it. We may not feel how this day is going, and we want to get away from it all. But let's focus on the things that matter. One bad day will not ruin the other good days that God has in store for you. So let's focus, get our mind straight, and focus on the things that really matter. What we do outside in this life is important. Just spreading a positive message to somebody, just spending time with the Lord, focusing on the Lord, developing your strength, developing your character. This provides us the ability to walk with great influence if we want to. The key is if we want to, because we have the power to make decisions in our own life. Whatever decision that you decide to make, you have to live with it. And you have to understand that every decision counts. When we're younger, we may make wrong decisions. We may do the wrong things. We may be around bad influence. But when we become adults, we're much more knowledgeable in understanding and knowing who, what, where we should be around. If we continue to live with a childlike mindset leading towards adulthood, then we did not learn anything, we did not grow, we did not develop into the people God wanted us to be. And sometimes it may take some longer than others, but just still having a mindset from when you were a child as a far much more larger and grown adult is not good. At a certain point in your life, you must change, you must grow, you must develop into the person God wants you to become. You can tell sometimes the people who have developed into what God wants them to become and the people who have not. Many times we lose faith and lose focus on God and what God wants in our own personal life. When we focus on our desires, our goals, our objectives that God did not place in store for us. Understand that you are important. What you do in this life is important. And don't think because you may not have a large following, you may not be a popular individual, you may not be an individual of high status, that you're not important. People in their own personal lives will and are paying attention to you because you can be an influential person. Never lose faith in yourself and understand that if God thinks you're important, then you are important. So today, I'll be reading these scriptures to you, and I hope these scriptures can help you in your own personal and daily life. Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. Proverbs 9:9. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be wiser. Teach a righteous man, and he will increase in learning. Understand that today, influence is important. What you do in your life is important. How you inspire and influence others is important. Once we know what to do, we have to be the leaders and lead others towards the right path and the right direction. The Most High provides us instructions, so we have to lead with those instructions in this life today. Do not be judgmental, do not be harsh on others if they're learning, but understand that God is still working in them and still providing them the opportunity to change their life, to make the proper decisions that God wants them to make. And we have to pray constantly and understand that this life is trial and error. And on this journey, it will be a long one. But if we follow the Most High and do what is right, the Most High will bless us and provide for us today. I want to thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Peace.